Hey everybody. It is Elsa 932 on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me. We are here to talk about Reel It In. This is a new segment that I'm doing that I'm trying to get this, situated so y'all could actually see what we're talking about. It's a new segment that I have for us to talk about movies and different series. Okay. So since it is Halloween week and because one of our longtime subscribers said, hey, let's do something special for Halloween. We've been doing slasher films this week. Okay. We did two on Tuesday. We compared them. Nightmare on Elm Street with Friday the 13th, or better known as Freddy versus Jason. And today I am covering Child's Play and Leprechaun, those two franchises. Now, yes, they're two little men. One is a doll, actually, and one is a fictional character. So I said, what can I pair Chucky with? And when I was looking around, I remembered Leprechaun. So what I didn't do last time, and while y'all are coming in, liking, and subscribing to the channel, let me just be able to tell y'all, let me read it out, okay? Let me read out what is known to us. So it says Child's Play, or colloquially known as Chucky, is an American slasher media franchise. The film primarily focuses on Chucky, whose voice is Brad Dourif in the original films. But did y'all know that Mark Hamill? Did y'all know that Skywalker it also did his voice in the remake? That was interesting trivia for me. But he's a notorious serial unaliver who frequently escapes perishing by performing a ritual to transfer his soul into a guy doll. The original movie was released in 1988 and it has spawned 6 sequels, a television series, a remake, novels, comic books, a video game, and tie-in merchandise. Okay, so that is basically Child's Play. It's basically Chucky the doll. This guy wanted to escape, being, how can I say, the serial unaliver in Child's Play wanted to escape being charged and captured, and so he transferred his soul into a doll, and that is Chucky. And if y'all could see it there, that's Chucky on the side there, with his usual item. But basically, whoever he appears to, Chucky appears to fresh out the box, is who he can transfer his existence into as a human being. And we'll talk about the franchise. But let's go on to Leprechaun. Leprechaun is an American horror comedy film series consisted of 8 films, beginning with Leprechaun in 1983. The series centers around a malevolent and unaliving leprechaun who resorts by any means necessary to protect and reclaim his gold. I love me gold. And that is basically it. And the only thing to defeat him is the 4-leaf clover. Again, a mythical, creature. Yes, pot of gold. He always wants his gold, the leprechaun. And Chucky always, in Child's Play, Chucky is always out here doing something bad. I'm just trying to find something that can work, that we can see both of them, but my screen does not wish to cooperate at this time. Okay, there we go. So that is basically what Child's Play and what Leprechaun is. Now, Child's Play, or Chucky, is more known internationally because Chucky has gone everywhere. And that franchise apparently made millions of dollars. Okay, millions of dollars. It says Child's Play, the first, second, and fourth films were box office successes, with all of the films earning over $182 million worldwide. Y'all understand the franchise has generated over $250 million. That is Chucky. I didn't look for the franchise earnings for Leprechaun, but I'm sure the film, it wasn't a waste if they kept on making films. That's all I got to say. I don't see anything. I didn't see anything online about Leprechaun and the money they were making, but they won't be making nonsense things. But hey, notably, people who were unknown back then, Jennifer Aniston was in Leprechaun. Jennifer Aniston, we did not know her as the Jennifer Aniston at the time. And a lot of other people that we really didn't know, they also had bit roles. But at the time we did know Ice-T, eventually Laz Alonso was in there. Um, there was a lot of people who started off their career, which is very, very odd to me, started their career in this franchise, The Leprechaun. Okay. But y'all make sure you are hitting that like button, please. So when I first encountered Child's Play and I encountered Chucky, more importantly, I thought it was going to be, just, the regular horror story, not a slasher film. I thought it was going to be, suggestion that the doll is just sitting there, that the doll is just going to be, saying something. But Chucky was fully animated. Chucky was doing everything and Chucky was handling business. Okay. One of my favorites was the third one. I believe it's the third one where Chucky ended up at the military academy. That's one of my favorites, apart from Bride of Chucky. When Chucky got a bride, when Chucky got a bride, I was like, yes, this is exactly what we needed. Okay. This is exactly what we needed. But definitely when he was at the military academy and he went after usually Andy, the title characters who he's trying to, reclaim an existence in. This time, Chucky revealed himself to another little boy, an African American little boy this time. And Chucky said, Chucky's going to be a bro. And I said, who wrote that line? Please stop. But it was the first time Andy was not the person who was directly who Chucky was actually coming after. Hey, AK's POV, glad to see you. Glad to have you here. Chucky was not after Andy in that part of it. But definitely whoever Chucky reveals himself, and it's always a piece of his body is put back into the plastic, or he finds his way back into the realm so he can find a body so he can come back into the world. But when Chucky got the Bride of Chucky, y'all, is too funny. Yes, Child's Play was comedy. Yes, it was. It was wonderful, especially if you love slasher films. Especially if you love slasher films. Chucky is it. Chucky had the one-liners. Chucky had the one-liners. Chucky was the doll that your parents didn't want you to have because Chucky was cursing. Chucky was a grown man in a doll's body. Okay? Chucky was a grown man in a doll's body. He was like, hey, what do you expect me to do? I'm just a doll. And he would turn around. He had that voice, the whole Chucky's gonna be a bro, or I'll slash you later kind of thing. And then he also had the doll voice available to me. Hi, my name is Chucky. Can I be your friend? I mean, he had the doll. He can go into it. So when Andy was saying, hey, my doll is not right, Chucky would go straight into the, hey, can you be my friend? And it would make Andy look like he was an unhinged child. Unhinged child for at least a couple movies. But when it came down to 3, when it was the military academy, when Chucky was going to be a bro, the ending where they went through the carnival, that was very interesting. Chucky did something very interesting in that movie, and I'm assuming everybody here has watched it, but if you have not, the only one thing that I didn't like, of course, sometimes Chucky's laugh, affected. I was like, ugh. But when the military academy, they would play teams, and it was red team, blue team, and Chucky made a switcheroo. It was paintball, and Chucky made a switcheroo and put real pew pew bullets in the pew pews for the red team. So when they saw red, they would think that it's just a paint when it's actually, pew pew. I was like, daggone it. Why did y'all have to go that far? I mean, it could have well been, other things, but Chucky went all the way there. Chucky was really, really bad. Now for Leprechaun, he had his gold. And if you take his gold is where we got a problem. And people always finding his gold and trying to take his gold is where we had a problem. Leprechaun had a constant problem with that. But when he initially started, the gentleman who took his gold, he followed him, I guess, all the way to the United States and, to reclaim his gold. And he Leprechaun terrorized everybody because he was trying to get his gold. He knew how to sniff out his gold from anywhere, and he was actually placed in a box with a four-leaf clover on it to keep him sealed. But it's after, of course, all these years, someone comes around and they dust off the four-leaf clover and they open the box and they let the leprechaun out, and he's on the hunt again for his gold. The one, I can't remember which movie it was, but it was one where the person realized the leprechaun was coming after them for the gold, and they would throw the gold pieces in different directions because the leprechaun was compelled to go after the gold rather than after the person. So they were constantly doing that to get the leprechaun off, their scent trail a little bit. But only a four-leaf clover could either destroy or imprison the leprechaun. And you got to believe in it too, because there was one time where the four-leaf clover was used and it did not affect the leprechaun at all, but because the person didn't believe in the fable. But the Leprechaun was another comedy kind of slasher film to me, because the leprechaun would come in dancing and corralling and doing all kinds of other things that I thought, oh my gosh, what are we doing? What are we doing? But it was very, very interesting. It certainly for me changed the genre of, from the Freddy and Jason's and the Michael Myers, which were very serious slasher films of the time, to something with a more comedic background. It is still slasher, but it still had like a comedy in the background. It had you laughing at certain points when you're like, I really shouldn't be laughing because stuff is happening here that I wouldn't be laughing if Jason or if Michael Myers was doing it. Why am I laughing? And because Chucky said a joke. Jason don't speak, Michael Myers don't speak. And Freddy, when he speaks and he makes a joke, it ain't, it lands, but it's more adult focused. But these two, yes, these movies are only for grown-ups because they are slasher films. It just seemed like they brought a whole new, not new, but it took horror into a different direction. We had The Exorcist, we had all those things, and we had the Poltergeist with Caroline. We had all those things, but we didn't have much as far as comedy. And it's the same thing I feel about Gremlins, and we'll do Gremlins another time when we probably talk about, as I said before, Gremlins and Critters together, which I found them to be very interesting horror movies of their time. So Child's Play, as I said, it had about 8 movies and so forth, but Mr. Skywalker being one of Chucky's voices, yeah, that kind of threw me when I found out about it. I was like, there's no way Luke Skywalker is going to be or was the voice of Chucky, but he was. How could a Jedi become the voice of Chucky? But hey, he's not a Jedi in real life. He's an actor, okay? So basically, out of these two, I would much prefer watching Child's Play all over again, because then we get into Bride of Chucky, we get into Seed of Chucky, we get into all kinds of other things with Chucky. While, Leprechaun, yes, it is interesting. I feel he was one-dimensional, constantly going after his gold. And after a certain point, I'm tired of hearing, I'm looking for me gold. Tired of hearing it. But it definitely is, a series or a genre, Leprechaun that is worthy of taking a peek at. That is worthy of you watching and seeing and knowing what exactly it was of that time. Some people find it really funny. Some people find, oh no, I couldn't watch it. But, Leprechaun definitely is worth the watch. So you please tell me in the comments below, if you're watching this on a replay, which one do you prefer? Have you seen both? Have you not? But otherwise, I really enjoyed, Chucky for the most part. Chucky is my absolute favorite. I'm not sure if he's yours, but I have not played the video games, but I did see the comic books. I refused to buy a Chucky doll. There was no way I was also going to be buying a Chucky doll in the midst of all of this, okay? But it's very interesting to find out that the Chucky franchise is worth over $250 million. I didn't think it was that much. I knew it was a lot, but I didn't think Chucky franchise was worth that much, okay? But, it's like when you got along like further on, like 2017, 2019, I felt like the originality of Chucky kind of dwindled and went away. I was not a fan after Seed of Chucky. I was not a fan. I'm sorry. I was not a huge fan. And it could be because they changed, okay? It changed. A real Chucky doll or the My Buddy. They came out together. That was real bad timing. It was. It was. And I don't know why people would sell the doll, especially since, all the controversy that happened with Cabbage Patch. If y'all remember Cabbage Patch dolls, I know I'm dating myself. If y'all remember Cabbage Patch dolls, back then, people were saying that Cabbage Patch dolls were up to all kinds of mischief. All kinds of mischief. And I had one and it wasn't up to mischief. I got one to see if it would be up to mischief, and maybe mine was broken. But definitely, yeah, My Buddy, it was not the right time to come out with a doll, especially when Child's Play came out. Especially when Child's Play came out. It was not the right time at all. Because you do not want your buddy trying to take over. Trying to take over your life and your existence, okay? Now, apparently there was different shows as well. They had different short films, Chucky's Vacation Slides, Chucky Invades. I told y'all, I was done after Seed of Chucky. I was done. And Seed of Chucky to me was awesome. It was really, really funny. But when you got down to Curse of Chucky and the rest of them, I was like, yeah, no, thank you. But I totally loved Jennifer Tilly as the Bride of Chucky. Now she had the voice, she had the, whole mannerisms and everything. So when it changed from a person to a doll, Jennifer Tilly really was the Bride of Chucky. I really liked her as the voice of the Bride of Chucky, and she kept it up at the Seed of Chucky. And I think she kept it up later on, but I can't remember. But definitely Jennifer Tilly is my favorite Bride of Chucky voice. But they did try to bring Freddy and Chucky together. Okay? They tried to make it, they said they pitched was Freddy versus Chucky's Child's Play on Elm Street. That's what they wanted to call it. Child's Play on Elm Street. And Chucky ends up in some kid's house on Elm Street, and Chucky and Freddy meet in the dreamscape. And then it's like, I'm like, Chucky sleeps? What? But apparently they say that Chucky would sleep and Chucky would dream, and they would have an admiration for each other, and quickly that Elm Street is not big enough for the two of them, so they would have a rift. That is what they pitched. He pitched it and he thought it was doable, but nobody, they started early development, but nobody wanted to get it. Nobody wanted to get it. Yeah, I wouldn't have liked that at all. I would have been like, just like them, like, what? Chucky sleeps, he's a doll. But remember, it's a human person that's inhabiting the doll's body. So I'm guessing, I mean, come on. I mean, I'm guessing, but anyway, I don't know how that would have gone on with Freddy and Chucky. I think they did the right thing of having Freddy pair up with Jason, and I wonder if the Michael Myers people didn't want to pair up too. Because Michael Myers got to go to sleep too, right? He's a human being. But definitely, I would not have wanted to see Freddy and Chucky get together. That would have been awful to me. Absolutely awful to me. But hey, Leprechaun, let me see. Leprechaun got some bad Rotten Tomato reviews. The first one, first one didn't get the highest. The first one got 35%, and the highest was Leprechaun Returns at 45%. And that's the highest. But I do think at least the first Leprechaun is worthy of you watching. At least the first one, okay? At least the first one. If you don't plan on watching all the films, if you don't plan on watching all of them, that's okay. At least watch the first one and get a feel for it, okay? But y'all, let me know your thoughts in a comment below about each of these franchises. Did you like them? Did you enjoy them? What was your favorite movie? Did you like the premise and so forth? And all I've got to say, is that I will see you on the next Reel It In. I'm not sure which movies I'm going to do. I may continue with the horror franchise, but we were talking on another live and y'all wanted to see other films. And I'm trying to pair up the Addams Family Values. That's one of my favorites, and see who I can or what I can talk about. But definitely we're going to talk about Gremlin and Critters at some point because I really do like those. But y'all, right now, today, I have posted all of the Married at First Sight episodes that have been released, episodes 5, 6, and 7. Please make sure you watch those recaps. There is going to be a live on Saturday, but tomorrow is going to be our usual El Cid Unscripted at 5 o'clock, where we talk about what you want to talk about. And someone messaged me on the side and said, hey, can you talk about relationships and marriage? So that's what I plan on starting with. There is a post if you would like your topic to begin our conversation tomorrow, Friday. Please put it in the post section for Friday, October 31st. And I promise not to make it a scream. I promise not to make it a scream. But Saturday, we are going to be doing Love is Blind Denver, doing a live panel about, I'm doing a live panel on Saturday about Married at First Sight is 8 o'clock, but Love is Blind, that reunion, which was trash, but we got to unpack it. I will have Trey and Sam with me at 5 o'clock on Saturday. On Sunday at noon, we are going to cover Love is Blind, Married at First Sight UK, season 10. And those are available on YouTube if you're looking for those episodes. Hey, Cheryl. Just got here, just watching Maths recaps. Thank you so much for supporting, as always, Cheryl. Sunday, I'm not sure if I'm going to do unsolicited advice, but I just may, and I have to balance everything out. So I may do unsolicited advice like every other Sunday. But since Love is Blind is leaving, I got to find something to take up my time, right? So I might just change the time I do that, and I may do that Saturday at noon, since I'm doing everything else at 5 and 8 o'clock, and leave my Sunday free. Monday is Member Monday. So Member Monday, we'll have it 8 o'clock, and we have lots of fun in the members. I act very demure and mindful in the membership, but the members, they do act up a little bit, but they're still friendly and kind and nice. Tuesday, remember, it is the 4th of November, so it starts with All's Fair. That is a new series on Hulu by Ryan Murphy. If you know American Horror Story, then you know Ryan Murphy is a wonderful creator. And I'm going to look at All's Fair. It starts that day, 4 episodes. It's about women lawyers taking over the divorce section of legal. And so I'm going to watch it, but I'm not sure I'm going to recap it. I may just do lives where we talk about the characters, because they are feisty. They are feisty, ladies, and I love it. So I may just do lives about that on the weekend and see how you ladies, really like the show. Or I don't know if I'll recap it, because I have a lot of recaps coming. But as always, Love is Blind Italy comes December 1st. So we will definitely be doing that weekly, and members are certainly got the schedule already. Am I watching only on the livings in the building on Hulu? No, I did not get into that. I'm a fan of both of the comedians, but I'm not a fan of how they have them paired up with the young lady. It just can't, a little too campy for me. I'm no longer in my campy days. That's the thing. I'm no longer in my campy days. I watched the first episode when it first came out, and I was like, oh no, this is not for me. This is not for me. But definitely, I am certainly open to anything that, y'all would like me to consider. I'm not going to jump in feet first on everything, but things you'd like me to consider, like I did this, Chucky and Leprechaun, because y'all wanted to talk about certain things. But Reel It In is actually for any of your movies, any of your shows that you want to talk about, and we could see. Leverage. No, I'm not watching Leverage. I don't even know about Leverage. Don't even know because I'm in really the maths Love is Blind, and I'm into international versions as well. There are very few people stateside that do cover the international versions of all of them. Like I've covered Love is Blind, Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, Sweden, Germany, UK, France. I'm covering Habibi. How can I forget Habibi? One of my favorites. But I'm covering a lot of those. And Italy is coming up December 1st. I'm going to kind of steady the pace. And remember, I'm going to, during the holidays, maybe Thanksgiving weekend after everybody's stuffed as much as the turkey, I'm probably going to do a live where we could just talk about our Love is Blind franchise and talk about Maths franchise. Either we do it separately or we do it together because there are things that each of them can learn, and there's some international. I think I'll just do it one. Love is Blind, so we could talk about international and stateside, and then Maths, and then we could compare them and see how they can learn from each other and help bring something great to us. They're doing good. Maths this year, US is doing good. Okay. AK's POV says, my mother loves watching Leverage. I don't know what Leverage is. Are you trying to get leverage on me, Cheryl? Are you trying to get leverage on me? Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, I see what it is. I see what it is. But they said Leverage was canceled. Where would I even see it? They say Leverage was canceled. Your mom has good taste. Yes, you. I see that Leverage was canceled. Or is it this Leverage Redemption? Is it Leverage Redemption? I'm not sure. Oh, and it's 3 seasons. I'm so far behind. If it's something like that, I need to be able to pick it up. But if you're looking at American TV drama series, both Redemption is a continuation. Okay. My favorite that they canceled was Homeland. Absolute favorite. XMO app it aired. Yep. Okay. Okay. I was like, I thought it was canceled. I loved Homeland. If we're talking about that kind of, drama series and true crime whodunit, Homeland is my absolute favorite with Claire Danes, and I think it's Manny Patinkin. But Homeland, I gotta have a live just to talk to fans of Homeland because I feel like I haven't found my people to talk about Homeland. Okay. Hey K Sharp, glad to see you. Glad to have you here. One of my favorites is Homeland, and definitely the Homeland is it's basically Claire Danes is a CIA agent, and she has contacts, and her contact told her that an American prisoner of war has turned. Okay, the person has turned; they no longer support the U.S. And two people come home. Okay, two soldiers who were thought to have perished were actually POVs or POWs. Sorry, it's POWs, and they were released. All of a sudden, they were found, and she's trying to convince people this person, this highly decorated soldier, this ginger hair, very stately soldier, very decorated, coming home to his wife, who is, with his best friend on the side, who came home to his wife and his kids, that all of a sudden that it has turned against his country. And she's trying to convince them before something happens. And Homeland is about her chasing that. And when when the wife found out he was rescued, his buddy was between the sheets with her. I said, no, we didn't both turn around at the TV and catch a glimpse of her husband at the same time on the TV. But I ain't gonna tell you what happened with that one. But she got to pretend to be the docile and nice wife on his return because they had political aspirations for him. But Claire Danes was trying to prove that this man has turned against this country. Now that you get me something like that, Homeland, and Homeland can be used today for a myriad of reasons, to the political landscape and everything. It was one of those shows that was ahead of its time and kind of saw the landscape, and they, had a woman running for president, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. The media and everything, basically taking over the whole political landscape. Homeland is one of my favorites. And I know some people talk about The Patriot and stuff like that. So I really, really would look for a series like that, but I'm getting into All's Fair with the lady lawyers. I'm about my girl power too. So definitely, I got a soft spot for Tiana Taylor too. So that's also why she may not have a big role. Niecy Nash Betts is one of my favorites too, but Tiana Taylor may not have a big role in All's Fair. But you know what? I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it for her scenes, and the ladies look lovely. Glenn Close too. I had the wonderful opportunity of actually meeting Glenn Close in the New York City subway years and years and years ago when she did Damages back in the day. So definitely I will be checking out All's Fair with the ladies. And the lady who played Murphy Brown, she too is in All's Fair. So that's going to be my new series coming up on the 4th. And I'll probably, as I said, just do a live for it to have people just come in and we could talk about the 4 episodes rather than doing recaps, because MAFS is here. We only have 2 more weeks for MAFS. And then right after that is Love is Blind Italy. I have high hopes for Love is Blind Italy being messy because of how the episodes are preparing to run. Okay? How the episodes prepare to run. K-Sharp, in my post, I have the 2 trailers linked in the post that I have on the vote for Are You Watching All's Fair? I'm watching it. I don't know if y'all watching it, but I'm watching it. Okay? I am definitely watching it. But y'all, if there isn't anything else, as I said, Married at First Sight, the recent 3 episodes that dropped today, also my recap and review dropped today of each of the 3 episodes. And I hope y'all like the titles. Somebody told me I needed to be more upfront with my titles of my recaps. So I'm hoping y'all like those titles, because one I think is a little too risque, but somebody said they liked it. Somebody said they liked it. The last one, especially episode 7. I thought that was a little risque for it being out there in the algorithm for them to actually put it out for people to see it. But I will have some shorts for y'all for Married at First Sight there, season 19 in Austin, and Married at First Sight UK. I still have some other shorts to post for you. And y'all, please, I'm also on TikTok, so definitely you could reach out to me there. You could see my shorts there. Because I'm not going live on TikTok, they're kind of like staggering my stuff. Who cares? I ain't really trying. But when I do try, I'll probably over the holidays try to do more lives on TikTok as well. Hey, High Vibe. Glad to see you. Glad to have you here. I was just about to wrap up. Unless you had stuff you wanted to say about Chucky, Leprechaun, or any of the shows coming up. The ladies were just asking me if I was watching Redemption or Leverage. Sorry, Leverage. But Redemption is a continuation. Hey. I'm not going to be live on TikTok tomorrow. No, I won't be live. I'm never live on TikTok. I just post my shorts on TikTok. That's all I'm doing. Tomorrow I'll be live here for Unscripted. I'll be here for Unscripted. That's what I'll be. And members, I just posted what year in music we're going to be covering tomorrow. Okay? But no, I won't be live on TikTok tomorrow. Maybe I'll go on. It has to be a day that I'm off from work. Has to be a day I'm off from work, and the next day is Veterans Day, and I don't know how well that will be, how many people will be home to even watch that kind of stuff. But somebody told me it's best for me to just watch shows on TikTok and watch it with people and talk about it. I may decide, like how we have now, Love is Blind. I may watch some reunions for shows on TikTok Live. And maybe I'll do it TikTok and YouTube at the same time. I don't know. But I have to figure out what I'm going to do live on TikTok, but it'll be the same kind of, the same kind of element of what I'm doing. Okay? The same kind of element. When did I sleep? I sleep at night. Cheryl, I sleep at night. I do sleep at night, but I only watch the show. So I woke up this morning at my usual. I wake up at 5 a.m. I'm usually on the road by 5:30. If I'm hitting Atlanta traffic, I got to do that. I'm technically at work, for 8 o'clock, but I get to my parking deck by 6:15. So I'm at my desk by 6:30. So I leave by 3. When I am at work, my tablet is next to me. I have my headphones in and I am listening, and it's, wireless. So if I got to go to copier or go somewhere, I'm still hearing the show. That's how I watch most of these if I am in the office. If I'm home, I just watch them, and I'll put myself on break and I will film my recap of it, and I would, edit it. It doesn't take that long to edit right now. It takes me about an hour, because you see those things are 20 minutes. So it takes me about an hour between filming and editing. So I took my break and I'm done. So today was a slow day. So I just put myself on out, film, and then upload. And I'm back on work while it's uploading. So by the time this happens, when I do my lives, that's why I do my lives at 5. If I go to another channel and enjoy their lives in the evening, that's when I'll go to bed sometimes at, by 10 p.m. only to wake up. Yeah, I got a plan. I got a schedule. That's why I have stuff in my calendar, what shows or what time. It's on my calendar. I need that. And on the weekend, I planned a whole week. And after this live, I'm going to be doing my shorts. So I'll be doing shorts. I've got like 20 shorts I haven't published. So the shorts have really gotten really quick for me now. So I have like a ton of shorts, and I have to then curate it for when I want it to release to members and then to the public. So yes, I have a plan. I have a schedule. Only if I'm live on Little Black Book 91 on his super panels am I up late. One time I didn't get to bed till 2 a.m. And then I still got to be up and logged in for work at 7 a.m. But I didn't have to go into work the next day. If I do that kind of stuff, I could think, that's a 5 hour. I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be naughty, but I'm still at work. I could still answer emails and stuff like that. And I got to go to bed early the next day. That's just about it. Okay. Yeah. His panels run late. Yes. Little Black Book 91 on YouTube. His panels do run late. And even after the panel, we're up chatting. We're behind the stage chatting after his panel. So definitely, I could only do that once for the week and catch up on sleep on a Saturday morning. That's why the lives on the weekend, whatever. But between the lives is when I'm creating my thumbnails and everything for the week, because I don't have to do that in the week at all. Okay. But yeah, that is my plan, Cheryl. I do get that question. When do I sleep? My kids are grown. The dogs know how to handle their business outside. So I really don't have to do a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. That is very, very sweet. I love that you guys love it here. It took years for me to even open up my channel. I had to be pushed, and folks said, you better do that. And I was like, but what would I do? And I like the international versions of the dating shows, because guess what? When people date, we got the same problems, even though we're on different lands. We got the same issues. It may present itself differently. That's all. We all are seeking love no matter where we are in the globe. And my thing is, I like to look at it and analyze it, but I'm judgy, but not too judgy. That's why tomorrow when we talk about relationships on LSID Unscripted, I'm going to talk about, I don't really judge people how they wish to handle their relationship. That's for them. Now, if you wish to enter a relationship with me, that's a different story. That is a different story, because I have opinions on how things should run for me. But if it's somebody and it's something different, I'm more curious than anything. That's why you'll find me watching Seeking Sister Wife. You'll find me watching Seeking Brother Husband. Am I going to live that life? Heck no. I am too selfish for that. But what I'm not going to do is tell them that they're living their life incorrectly. I'm going to be like, I don't think that's going to work. I don't see how that works, but I'm very curious as to how people, navigate their own relationships. That's why I cover those international dating shows. But y'all, thank you so much for being here. We are at the 40-minute mark. Unless someone wants to talk about Chucky or Leprechaun, and I know we dive off. This is what this channel is. It don't always stay on topic, but we start on topic. And I don't mind talking to you guys about any and everything. But again, if you have a topic you want us to start with tomorrow in LSIT Unscripted at 5 p.m. EST tomorrow, then definitely put it under the post. I go there to the post. What should we talk about on October 31st? And we'll start there. If not, y'all leave it up to me. But members, you know what year in music we're going to cover. And there's a lot of songs that I like in that year in music. So you're going to get sick of me. You're going to get sick of me. SICKA. You're going to get sick of me tomorrow with these lyrics of these songs. Because I got lots to say. Because these songs are risque. Okay? Thank y'all so much for joining me for Child's Play, Leprechaun, and talking everything in between. And I'll see you on the next one.